Hey there, what is up, plant community? The Green Thumb here. So today's video is going to be on my ferns. Today is August 7th. Probably check here to make sure. Yeah, it's August 7th. And it's cloudy. It's been cloudy all day. I think it's because we got a little bit of a cold front that came in. And so the temperatures haven't really been hot or muggy. I mean, it's a bit humid, but it's doable because of the winds and it just being a bit chilly. So today's video, like I said, is going to be on the ferns. I've been collecting a bit more ferns because things are getting bigger. Plants like Norfolk Island pines, cycads, and things like that are getting bigger. And some of these guys, as they get bigger, I will have to store. Some of my plants over here, I will have to store for the winter. So, there's just going to be a lot less space. So I may go with more ferns or things that can take a bit of colder temps. So we'll start out here with my tree fern. That's all it's labeled as. I'm pretty sure it is a Australian species, one of the more cold-hardy ones. That's what I found. Probably try to keep this guy outside for as long as I can. Definitely doing good. I automatically took him home, repotted him right away. There's some old dead fronds in there. And ever since then, we could see that there's some new growth in there. There's new growth right there. Now, are these ones good for pot culture like the dwarf species? No, not really. Honestly, I would argue with that they're not. But living in a zone like me, I gotta make do with what I can. I could probably protect these guys, but I'm really not allowed to have trees. We're gonna be getting inspected tomorrow, which is why I'm making this video now. So, yeah, they might tell me to dig up some things or cut some things down. I probably won't, but they don't need to know that. And then, look, we got a new frond that's wanting to come up in here, too. So, everything is looking good. I have this guy where he receives sunlight for most of the day, and I have him as a hanging basket. We will go to the back and look at the ferns back there. You know what? I'll even talk about the ferns that are in the ground, because why not? And yeah, I just trimmed this tree up a bit. So, anyways, ferns in the ground, ferns in the ground. This guy is a Christmas fern. He's not doing so well. Honestly, I think he's getting shaded out by this hosta. So next year, I'm going to be doing a lot of moving around of the plants. Just so I can have a little bit more space and room. My neighbor finally opened up his window. He said he likes this. He says he just looks out. It looks like a tropical oasis. I'm like, that's the plan. That's why I did what I did. So it looks like a beautiful tropical oasis for you. So then we'll go over here. We got my Ostrich Fern. There we go. I had to get that flower back in there because it's just needs to stay behind the fence line. Anyways, Ostrich Fern doing really well, and it's a native, so of course I'm always happy to have really loud vehicle. So I'm always happy to have a native species of fern growing here. I did have one. I planted out into a forest, and something dug it up and ate it. So I gotta rethink about my planting next time when I plant one. And then over here we have my other Christmas ferns. They're doing great. They're growing, protected by the trees. But yeah, we'll definitely have to probably get the weeds out of there more likely, so that way it can grow and get all the nutrients it needs. And then up in the tree in the garden area, we have the Staghorn Fern, which is doing really well. This is a new mature frond. It stuck to the tree, so I'm definitely gonna have to figure out a way to get that off the tree, even if it includes snipping a bit of roots, because I definitely don't want it to die. And yeah, I definitely want it to grow, which it should be hard to separate the roots from the tree. Uh, yeah, I just definitely wasn't expecting that to root on there like that for this year. So, yeah, definitely going to be a little bit harder to get off. But I don't mind. I don't mind the challenge. And then over here, we got my Macho Fern, which, of course, I knew it would come back this year. Frost hit it last year and caused it to die back quite a bit. But you know what? I'm happy that it's even coming back. I knew it would, though, because I keep fronds down there, and it's always well protected by the fronds. And then another fern that I've thought about putting in the ground, but right now I'm keeping it as a house plant, and it's a cold hardy species, is the autumn fern. Didn't come with a tag, but it's an autumn fern, and they get these golden fronds on them, these golden leaves on them, which looks nice. Definitely not a native, but I mean, hey, when you got a nice looking fern, it probably won't get invasive either, long as I maintain it and do what's required to keep the species. Um, then over here we have my Boston fern. Definitely looking good, looking nice and fluffy and wild. And then over here we have one of my newer ferns as well. This is my bird's nest fern. I decided to get another one, and yeah, I repotted it. It's looking good. And then over here we have my Australian gem fern, another newer fern. I put it in a black pot. Hopefully that will take off nicely. Yeah, I've noticed that some of the ferns, by the way, that kind of want more of an arid mixture or more epiphytic and like to be on trees and things, and that's really interesting to me. I have a few epiphytic ferns just because they work better for me than some of the more finicky guys like the Boston fern there. Um, and then, of course, we got my beautiful rabbit's foot fern, kind of a little right now. I had to spray it, got hit with a scale. I say that's really the only complaint about this plant is scale, but I mean, long as you can maintain it, it's good, and it does get bald on the top if like you don't have light hitting it. So yeah, otherwise than that, good fern. Happy to have it. Always happy to have my ferns, and that's what I've been doing. Any plants that die that just ain't getting big enough, I've just been replacing with ferns. I have all these trees. These trees are going to get big. So I've been replacing with ferns and alocasias for every tree that dies. Every, what I would label as newer tropicals like Tricenas. Um, let's see here. My blue star fern. There we go. Doing good. It has recovered quite a bit. I remembered when I had this guy, it was scorched, which we can see right there. So one of the older fronds, and put it outside. Just didn't water it very much inside, and now look at it, looking just fantastic. I mean, wow. And yeah, I have to try to get a kangaroo paw because that's another fern I've been looking for. All right, we are on the ground now. I am going to remove my Florida Beauty to show you guys a little project I've been doing. This is my Crocodile Fern. Another fern that probably shouldn't require much maintenance. It too is an epiphytic fern, and I put it in some soil that will hold moisture, and the roots can hook onto the log, and sorry about that, and will continue to climb. So, yeah, Crocodile Fern, looking good. I repotted him last night too. Well, I think it was the night before actually, and so yeah, I wanted to give something more natural looking for him, and hopefully this will be natural enough that he will continue to thrive for me. I had one before, and it did thrive for me. I guess here in my particular climate, you should let them like completely dry out, then water them again. So yeah, that's uh that's interesting to me. Yeah, so that is my ferns, and those are my fern updates. So I've got just a small collection. Again, guys, I live in government housing, so I can only get so many plants, and with things getting bigger, of course, I have to try to make room for other good-looking and better-looking plants. Um, which sucks because I would like to collect way more, but like I said, for every new tropical, like a Dracena, I replace with a fern now because I want to try to keep it a little more prehistoric. But yeah, all my ferns seem to be doing good. They seem to be adjusting just fine to being outside. So yeah, hopefully that continues to thrive. Maybe if this guy gets bigger, way bigger, maybe I'll put the Staghorn Fern up on this tree, or maybe even use that tree right there, because he's getting quite big too. Let me know if you guys would like to see that, because yeah, I rooted onto this thing with no issues. I'm sure I would have absolutely no issues when that gets thicker of a trunk, just hooking it onto a tree. I mean, this only took probably not even all summer, to be honest, with the Staghorn Fern. So, yeah, I mean, if I get a trunk as thick as that or something on one of these trees and a higher of a trunk, leave a comment down below and let me guys know if you just want to see something like that, if you want to see something a little bit more natural. But yeah, otherwise than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good rest of the day.